Ladies and gentlemen, welcome, welcome, welcome in. Them sports dudes is at it again. And I got some very special guests with me. Robert at WTP for life. How you doing this evening, homie?
Man, I'm feeling really, really good this evening, man. Ready to get it on tonight. Glad you got me on tonight. Good to be here. Good to see my man Mossberg in post game. I'm glad to be here. Let's roll.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And I got my homie Mossberg of Level Up Sports 10. How you feeling this evening, homie?
Man, feeling pretty good, man. Thankful, man. We back, as one take Zay says, with another banger. It's just good to be here, man, with the guys, seeing the faces amongst everything that goes on every day in our life. Within doubt, we could come here and cook. I love it. I'm glad it was on a Thursday with everything going on, and it's just great to be here, man. Let's cook, man. I'm glad, definitely.
Oh, yes, sir. It's going to be a whole lot of cooking tonight. But first, ladies and gentlemen, these are some of the finest sports analysts you'll find on this here YouTube app. So, fellas, man, we all know what the people came here to hear about. The NBA Finals is on freaking fire right now. And it was an unbelievable game four last night. How you doing? Who is that? Queen Diamond. Make sure you like and subscribe. We appreciate you being here. So we'll get right to the questions, fellas. Oh, I got that twice. Okay, I'm sorry. The Knicks, and I'm gonna start with you, Rob. The Knicks came back from 29 points in the second half to defeat the Spurs. Was this the most amazing comeback you've seen?
Most amazing comeback I've ever seen. No, I wouldn't have put it as the most amazing comeback I've ever seen because man, Reggie Miller, what was that, 8 points in freaking 18 seconds? That might be the tops, bro. To see somebody be able to do that when you feel like the game is done, you down 8 points with 18 seconds left, and you pull out a victory, that might be the greatest one ever. But this one last night by the Knicks was definitely the greatest ever in an NBA Finals, that's for sure.
Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. I mean, there's so many, and I'm gonna get to that, but there's just so many great comebacks. I don't know if I've seen one in the finals as you just spoke on, but Mossberg, what's your thoughts on that, man? Is this the greatest, this the most amazing comeback you've seen?
Man, I'm gonna say most amazing to see in an NBA Finals. But I'm gonna say second to none when you think of a game like Wemby, his greatness. You think of Brunson, the Brunson takeover, his greatness that's unleashing right before our eyes. I'm gonna take it back to 2011, the big German Dirk Nowitzki against the Heat in Game Two, and it continued throughout that series, and it propelled the Mavericks. So even though it wasn't quite 29, I'm gonna say in comparison with the fact of it being against LeBron, Wade, Bosh, and we know what that Heat team was like then. So I definitely put this finals definitely up there. And like Unc said, that Reggie Miller, and then one that wasn't an NBA finals. Shout out to Chris Jackson, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, his 34-point comeback with the Nuggets back in the day. Charles Brown, one of the guys, his boy against Michael Jordan and the Bulls. Just thinking about comeback wins, but this definitely cements itself as a top three, but probably tops in the way this New York team has been rolling through these playoffs. And I was in the Garden as well. So I would say it's definitely one of the tops in all time for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure, man. I mean, if you just want to talk about comebacks, one of the most amazing comebacks I ever saw was, of course, my Indianapolis Colts, Peyton Manning on a Monday night on the road at Tampa Bay, down 21 points with 3 minutes and like 40 seconds left. And they come back and win that game. 3 minutes and 40 some seconds left against Warren Sapp and that Tampa 2 defense. But we talking NBA finals, and NBA finals terms, I haven't seen anything like that. It's kind of strange, fellas, because even as I kept seeing San Antonio knock down three after three after three, man, I was starting to turn the game off like, man, it's over with. But then some kept telling me, man, no, this feel weird, man. This too good to be true. So I kept the game on. And when they got it cut down to like 15, 14 points, I knew the Knicks was going to win this game. But to answer the question, man, me personally, if we talking NBA finals comebacks, I've never seen anything like that. Not in the final. They were down as much as what 30 some points in the first half.
Yeah, they was down big, like about 30 points, 35, something like that in that first half. It was ugly.
Absolutely amazing. And we got our man Parlay Poe in the chat. He said Paul Pierce on the Lakers. Why you gotta do me like that, bruh? Why
I
you
was
gotta
going.
do?
I wanted to say something about that, not to cut you off, but respect because you're a Laker fan. And when you talk about that, I'm glad Parlay Poe mentioned that because you think of the Garden, you think of TD Waterhouse, Boston, New York, those are some great places. And I think these both, just to talk about these two, and then the 2011, I think you can stamp all three of these. People really put them however they choose within their fan base, but respectively, Parlay Poe being a Celtics fan, I could understand where he coming from with that too, because that was something, and it was against the Mamba. So respect to that as well. Nothing against you post game, but that was definitely something to see, and watching the truth be himself in that series with Garnett and those guys.
Yeah, no offense taken, man. That was a great comeback. Who was randomation F2C? I thought New York would become Gotham. He said the Knicks lose. That's crazy work. Fox lied on his resume. Wow. What you mean by that, homie, man? Let us know. How tall do you have to be to play in the NBA? I mean, it depends, really. I think I'm hard pressed to believe Jalen Brunson is a full 6'2". I just don't believe that. But I mean, I guess it's more so on your skills, the position you play. Y'all got anything else on that? No.
Just I would say to see this comeback, man. Like for me, like you mentioned, it kept me into the game. You know, at halftime, I almost stopped watching it. Third quarter, I'm like, is the Knicks going to do something? And they got it down. So I was like, man, is this Brunson takeover going to happen? But shout out to OG, man. Like we talked about, man, OG has been an OG. He stepped up big time as well, and I think
We go
seeing
we
those
go
two
we go
guys,
we're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
yeah.
that. We're gonna get to that, homie. And I'm stay right there because I'm coming straight to you. What do you think was the biggest factor of the Spurs losing this lead?
OG, OG, and a Brunson takeover. I think you got to respect both of them because they both stepped up big time. Brunson shot 50% in this game. We'd seen the shots he took the game before, but Brunson definitely played his part. And OG, man, shooting the ball well. He had that killer instinct, as we talk about. He had that dog in him. He came ready to play in game four, as he's been doing throughout the playoffs in this final series. So I would say OG was definitely balling on a different level last night.
So you got OG as the biggest factor. What say you, Rob? What was the biggest factor of the Spurs losing this lead?
The Spurs, whatever their game plan was, after they got that big old lead and Nick started chipping away at it, I think I heard maybe Charles Barkley or somebody say you got a 29-point lead or whatever it was, and you jack up eight straight threes. Like, come on, man. When you got a lead like that, you want to go ahead and keep on getting as many of those easy twos as you can, or get to the free throw line so you can make sure that you're getting points every time down the floor, whether it be a two or whether you're going to the free throw line getting at least one, two, if possible, if you knock them both down. But it was definitely the Spurs. Whatever their thinking was down the stretch, maybe they thought it was over. The Knicks would make a run at home. You never want to think like that in the NBA because no lead is safe in the NBA. Reggie Miller showed you you can be down 8 points with 18 seconds and win a game. So it was definitely the Spurs. Whatever they were thinking down the stretch really hurt them. And then when you look at the two boneheaded plays by Fox on the last two possessions, I mean, defensively on the last one, on the game winner, and then the play before that, I mean, it's the Spurs, bro. The Spurs gave away that game.
Yeah, I think. See, fellas, this is the reason why. Well, part of the reason why I picked the New York Knicks to win this series. I do not like teams where their best players are still super young and don't have much playoff experience, don't have much title experience. We've seen it with the Orlando Magics back in the day with Penny and Shaq. Super talented, uber talented team, but no finals experience. We've seen it with OKC with Durant Westbrook, uber talented, no finals experience. And we've seen it with the San Antonio Spurs, super talented team. I think the Spurs are going to be a problem in the West for years to come. You better get them now while you can because once they take off, it's a wrap. But I thought the Spurs' lack of experience in big playoff matchups. Not I'm what I'm trying to say is, yeah, they had big victories over OKC. OKC probably would have beat the Spurs had they been healthy, but that's a different story. But when you talk about finals experience, I do not like young teams where their best players are still extremely young that make it to the finals. I just don't, and history shows that. I think the Spurs shot themselves in the foot. Their lack of experience, their coaches' lack of experience in a game like this is what did them in. You heard Charles Barkley and those guys going off on how stupid the Spurs and Fox was. I think it was lack of experience. When you get the ball like that, and all Fox had to do was run the clock out as the Knicks attempted to foul him and he went for the layup and what a huge block by OG Ananobi. So I think it was more on the Spurs for losing a lead like that. How do you lose a 29-point lead in the second half, bro? That's just nasty work, man. Any other thoughts on this, fellas, before we move on?
Just thinking a big. I just always go back to what you mentioned about the key points of the game, the last few minutes: turnovers, free throws, missed layups, defense and foul shots win championships. On the other end, New York did everything that way that San Antonio didn't. So just kudos to New York and clawing back, fighting back, having that crowd behind them, and just being resilient. That's one thing that they have been doing throughout these playoffs, being resilient, knowing the task at hand.
That's for sure, homie. Who's the tallest man to play in the NBA? Wasn't it Manute Bowles?
I think George
Manute Bowles,
Mearshon. George
George Mearson.
Mearshon, I
Yeah, I
think,
think
or
it was
Manute
George Mirasan or Sean Bradley. One of those two might have been. I think it was Mirasan though.
Mearshon. Yep, 7-7.
I remember him. You want to smell like me? Yeah, I remember him, man. Our man SEC Shine, he said Spurs went ice cold from three and NY hit some for sure. I don't even Anyway, do you believe Duncan can take over as head coach in the near future? I mean, Dunk Truck was on the coaching staff a few years ago, so I mean, that probably isn't far fetched. He said Wimby seems like the most mature player there is. I don't know about that. Uh, Queen Diamond said, "Who you think youngest NBA player to ever play? When did Kobe Bryant?"
It was Kobe, yeah.
Bang, rest in peace.
Guns and Magnolias said the NY fans is lame.
Like wow.
Duncan would SEC Sean said Duncan would be great for Wimby. Absolutely, man. And I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure the dunk truck is working with Wimby behind the scenes for sure.
agreed.
Let's move on though. I'm gonna start with you on this one, Rob. Will the Knicks close this series in Game 5?
No, they're not going to close the series in Game Five. The Spurs are going to come out with a certain level of tenacity because that Game Four left a bad taste in their mouth, and they don't want to end their season on that. They're going to win this next game, Game Five, and I feel like they understand that. Listen, we gave one away. We might have even given two away, but we got to go ahead and get this win and extend this daggone thing. Because I'm telling you now, if they get it to 3-2, it's a totally different series at that point. I thought it was the same way when it was 2-1 and the Spurs came out kicking tail in Game 4, but then they had a brain fart and messed it up. But I think they're going to do the same thing in Game 5, and they're going to win it.
Yeah. Do you now? Let me ask you this, Rob. And I'm gonna get your thoughts on this too as well, Mossberg. Do you think do you think the Spurs are demoralized from losing a game like that? Do you think that losing the way they lost, do you think that's going to affect how they play in the next game?
I mean, I think losing like that is going to affect the way they play because they're going to come out and be a little bit more hungry because they know that they gave one away. I don't think it's going to bother them mentally to the point where they have a bad or off game. I think they feel like they gave one away, um, and I don't think they're going to let that happen again in Game Five. I think they're going to go out there and play really, really tough against the Knicks, and they're going to get that Game Five. It's going to affect them, but it's going to affect them in a good way.
Got you, got you. Mossberg, are the Knicks going to close this series out in Game 5?
No doubt that they will not close it out. I just think, like Unc said, man, Spurs had one right there in their hand. They had it in the palm of their hand, right there, itching. They just didn't scratch it. And I think they're gonna come out, like you said, with that intensity. And no disrespect when I say this, with all respect. And I respect the nuns. Those nuns come out. We know what they've been doing when they show up. Spurs has been playing at a different level, so we got to respect that. If they show up, the Spurs definitely play at an even higher level. They at home. Everything that they've been dealing with these last few games, this last week rather, on the road in New York, the fans and all of that, I think a lot of that has a part into this Game 5. I think San Antonio comes out. They try to put a hammer down in the first few minutes of this game in a way and not let a lead get away if they can have that like they and unlike last game in Game 4.
How do you think losing like that affects them mentally? How do you think that affects their game in Game 5?
And that's a great question. Going through that as a player, um, we went through that, but we won a game. And when you have to battle back in a game that you could have won, being in that position before, getting to the tournament, we was in that position again. You know, we let the crowd be the crowd. It was a neutral site, so we let the crowd be the crowd. We just went out and played. We did what we knew we had to do to win the game. At the end of the day, it's up to us on the court to determine that win. We got to listen to what the coach is telling us, and we got to believe in what he's telling us as that game goes on. Whether you in the game or whether you out the game, you definitely got to cheer your teammates on. So I think it'll have no mental factor on San Antonio. I think it helps them adjust more, knowing they had it right there to where they could play even stronger to get this game 5 win coming up.
Fellas, I originally said the Knicks in 6. And I'm going to stay with that because although I think that there's a strong possibility that this young team isn't mentally strong as probably they're going to be in the future, and I think there's a real opportunity for the New York Knicks to drive that dagger in their heart on their home court. The Knicks are undefeated in this series in Texas, but somehow, some way, I think this series makes it the 6, and they're going to New York City. It'll be over in 6, but New York City is going to go absolutely nuts if the Knicks are able to close this series out at home. But then again, putting my T1 of City League TV hat on, the NBA might want to avoid a situation like that, and the Knicks might close them out at home. Let's look at some of these comments, man. Uh, my man, no ego. He said New York fans are not basketball fans; they're just Knicks fans. They know little about basketball in general. I mean that sounds about right to me, fellas. What y'all think? The Spurs have had a double-digit lead in all 4 games. Oh yeah.
Man.
Then my man Upstate 315 ER2 said Spurs deflated, man, haven't won a game at home. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I feel like what's happening now and with the OKC is going to make the next couple of years really interesting. By the way, do you have hooligans like soccer teams in Europe? Bro, what's a hooligan, man?
Man,
What's a hooligan? Like I know what it is, but is there like a specific
yeah,
what
that's
you
what
saying,
I
bro?
need to run to.
Both teams choked late in the game yesterday. That's a fact. Gavin Sarabian said it's done for. We gonna see. Felly 6'4" Abel. Only way to lose is for the Knicks to win at home. And Juan 0617, thank you for tuning in. Said NGS Mad AF Spurs got smoked. Upstate, right back in that chat, said Mad Southern boys. My goodness, man. We Midwest guys, man, but thank y'all for those comments, man. Make sure y'all
Yeah, it's
like and subscribe, man. We appreciate y'all for go ahead, Moss.
nah. I didn't mean to cut you off. I was about to say to get into the context, just to say something about when you say some some people in New York are just Knicks fans. No disrespect, but some people, shout out to the ones that do follow Nick basketball and watch Nick basketball, because you do got some that have no clue of what's going on. May not know the history, but it's a good time to get up to date on it. That way you will know what you represent and then know what's going on in the city. When it comes to this basketball, and I would just say Spurs is Spurs in 7, man. I'm gonna still say that 106-17. I still got the Spurs in 7. It's a great series going on, but it's not over yet, man. Not to the fat lady sing, man.
Mossberg, you got to take the L out of lover, bro. It's a wrap. You got to take that L out of lover, bro. Now, I know you a lover, but man, you got to take the L out of it, man. It's over with.
Man.
You got anything on that, Rob? No.
Well, man, listen, New York Knicks fans, man, that's the mecca of basketball in a lot of people's opinion. So I don't know if I agree that just because they Knicks fans and they think that they don't know anything about basketball, because I mean we've seen movies made because of Rucker Park and some of the stuff that goes on there. And some of the greatest basketball players of all times have ventured to New York to play at Rucker Park. So I'm quite sure those Knicks fans aren't only just Knicks fans who don't know anything about basketball. I think they're Knicks fans because, of course, they're in New York, but they also know something about some basketball.
Yeah, true that, Rob. Hey, Juan, man, man, that photo is hilarious. He said we're going to play sweepers when we win next game. Y'all really think y'all coming back? He said getting sturdy on Wimby floor. My goodness, man, y'all going in the chat tonight. We
Let's go,
appreciate it.
man. We appreciate it, man. He said get sturdy on the Wemby floor. That'll be classic, man. Because I ain't gonna lie, that sturdy is it's a thing, man. I like when they do they sturdy, man. Shout out to it, man, for sure. It's crazy.
Mossberg, I'm gonna start with you on this.
Yes, sir.
LeBron James in Time Magazine said, "I'm not taking anybody over me." What do you make of his comments on being the greatest? Do you cause I'm one to think like if you the greatest, you don't gotta say it. Rob, I mean Mossberg, if you we know you cook, you a great chef. If you at the Waffle House cooking and there's three, let's say they got three elite chefs, you one of those elite chefs. You go around saying I'm the best cook here, but the other guy doesn't say anything, and the majority of people request him to cook their food. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
So, what's your thoughts on this comment, bro? What do you think about that?
Man, is crazy. No disrespect when I say this because that happened today at work, bro. That happened today at work. This is my first day up at the spot in a while. I don't tote my horn. I just do what I do. I love to cook. It's a passion. So when I do what I do, I'm not looking for nothing. I'm actually looking at your face when you take that first bite to see what you do after that first bite, post. So what I seen Mike do when he came into the NBA is stamp himself. I seen LeBron stamp himself. I seen Bean, rest in peace, stamp himself. So when you talk about the greatest, what Mike did is went to the NBA Finals and stamped himself as the greatest. So no disrespect to the king. I know this is Unc's man, but I'm going with Mike as the greatest. And I feel where he's coming from. You don't want to put nobody above you because I had that talk, people, who the best between you and your brothers. I'm not answering that question. You know where I stand, but that's for you to debate. That's for you to decide on. But I'm going him.
Bro, you watch people take their first bite, bro.
I literally watch people get they bite and they don't even know I'm watching them. They might take that bite and I catch them by the time they chewing the whole nine post. When I say it seemed like it already to hit their belly and they still chewing it, it's crazy work, man. I love what I do. And just the other day, I was cooking out west and a lady said, "Are you the regular chef?" She said, "Well, we're gonna have to let the cook know that's been here that he got a lot of competition because you did your thing on this, and this was regular. First time ever cooking for her and her husband. I love what I do, and I don't mean to brag about it, but if you come to the WTP reunion, shout out to the WTP sports dudes, everybody that's gonna be a part of that, you'll see Mossberg on the ones and twos, and we not talking about DJ. We talking about with them utensils cooking up. Yes, sir. I will be there this year cooking up.
Rob, I know LeBron James is your man. I know that's your dude, your favorite player. You got him number one all time. And I respect LeBron James's game. I think he was an absolute freak athlete. I just don't think he's the greatest to ever do it. But he's definitely up there. But in my opinion, but what did you think when you heard those comments? You heard about those comments he made.
Well, when I heard it, I said, LeBron James, you must not know about the unwritten rule when it comes to greatness, bro. You are not supposed to ever utter those words out of your mouth. Others are supposed to talk about you in that category of being the GOAT. Now, LeBron James is my GOAT because I feel like he is the greatest player of all times because of what we've seen him do for such a long period of time. The fact that he can rebound, assist, score. No, he don't have a huge bag, but he can put that ball in the hole. And he only got 4 championships. That is true. But I think LeBron James is the best basketball player I've ever seen. That's for me to say and for others to say about who they think their GOAT is. You should never utter that out of your mouth, LeBron James, because that's for other people to do.
What do you make of that? Like I get it. Like I think we all agree others should say that, but like, do you think him being raised by only his mother, plays a part in him, thinking and saying things like that?
Well, I really feel like when you think back on LeBron and all the hype that he came in with, and for him to live up to that hype, that has to do something to your ego at some point. Man, I came in with more pressure than any other athlete ever, probably in the history of sports. I lived up to the billing. I handled all of that, even some of the scrutiny that I had to deal with. And I became the all time leading scorer in NBA history. He might be close to being the all-time assist leader if he's not already the all-time assist leader. He's broken all kinds of records. So when you get to that point and you've been scrutinized, you've been held up on a high pedestal in certain areas, you probably get the big head and you get the ego, and you probably feel like, man, I gotta say I'm the greatest. But he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, and when I say that, that's nowhere near this to the sisters, man. I'm a product of being raised by a single mother. So I'm not saying that, you automatically are some type of a person because you're raised by your mother. I just know that when you're raised by a single mother, you miss a lot of masculinity in most cases. So that's why I added that. But fellas, I just think, you know, when you the best, you ain't gotta say nothing.
Yeah.
'Cause- yeah.
Let me answer this for no ego though. He said no clutch gene. Bro, come on, man. He brought a championship to the Cleveland Cavaliers, bro. And think about when he was at Cleveland the first time and the teams he had to get over to even make it to the championship. He bust Detroit's A. He bust Boston's A. Come on, man. Talk about no clutch gene. I think on Boston he dropped 40 something or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
He got clutch gene, bro. And if you look at his stats, he probably got more clutch game winners than a lot of people you might think is the GOAT over him. Go check his record because he got the clutch gene, that's for sure.
I like that take. Clip that.
Man, I disagree with Rob, but we not gonna get into that today. I'm gonna let him be great, man. I ain't. So let's move on, man.
Because I was about to say, I was going to say something on it, but we'll say that for another one because this is getting good with that. Yeah,
Go
I like
ahead,
that
bro.
question you put in there. When it comes to the clutch gene, when you thinking of a clutch, you got to think of LeBron. He's not always been clutch at shooting. So I'm thinking of the clutch. He's made a block. He's made that pass. You know, he's gotten those stats to be that clutch player when they need him to be clutch. Now, I think other times there may have been players that he may have thought could have been more clutch than him based on what he has in his arsenal, you know, based on the teams that he played with. But that's just my thoughts on that, in my opinion. Man, that's a good one, Post. I like that. I like that.
Yeah, man.
Man, you brought
It's
in some
always
smoke with that, man.
Yeah, it's
I
always an
love it.
interesting topic when you got to talk about LeBron, man. He been doing it for so long. But my next question, fellas, I'm gonna start with you on this, Rob. The Warriors are reportedly trying to trade for Kawhi Leonard and sign LeBron James to add with Steph Curry. Would that core be enough to win a championship?
Oh man, that core be enough to win the championship. I'm gonna say no. You got LeBron James, who was up in age. He's gonna be a defensive liability. You got Steph Curry, who, although he can light it up on the offensive end of the court, he's a defensive liability. Of course, Kawhi Leonard can play both ends of the court, but you don't know when he's going to decide to take a break. So I would say no. I don't want that to happen either because, like I said before, I want to see LeBron James do his farewell tour next year and go ahead and end his career. So going back to Cleveland, even if he ain't gonna play a whole lot, just go back to Cleveland, do your farewell tour, and get it over with. But I don't think that's a championship team if they get Kawhi and LeBron to Golden State.
Yeah, they definitely gonna be well rested because none of those guys gonna play much in the regular season. And I don't even know if they gonna qualify for the playoffs, man. But go ahead, Mossberg. What you got on that core, man?
That's just my same thinking, man. You're talking about an 82 game season, and then you get into the NBA finals and winning a championship. That's 100 plus. That's a lot of added miles on three bodies that has mileage on it already. And throughout these last few years, they faced some injuries. We know it. Curry and Kawhi, the injuries that they face and the time that they've been out, to where when they come back, they trying to get themselves back, but then they still need that added rest to be themselves. So for a championship, nah, it just really depends on what other pieces is made in these deals, because that West is wild. You see what we dealing with OKC. You see what we dealing with San Antonio, who now seems like the king, of the wild wild West. But we know that could change every few years. So if you want to stack Curry, Brown, Kawhi up, I would possibly love to see Brian and Curry on a farewell tour. But like Unc said, come on home to Cleveland, as we all say. Make that farewell tour here, because that luxury tax in LA, I know it's eating at the pockets. So, that's just something I thought about. That'll be a heavy tax on the championship coming to LA. So go ahead, come home, get all that good money, less tax. And we the people here might put you as the king on that Mount Rushmore, man. I don't know. A lot of people say that. Coming home and do it.
Uh, fellas, I like the idea of it, but that team isn't going anywhere in the West. But I mean, with San Antonio and
Yeah.
OKC and Denver, they not getting past those teams. But I do believe LeBron James wants to stay in LA. I truly do, man. He's built homes. His son is playing on the West Coast. Bryce was at Arizona. I believe he entered the transfer portal. So I don't believe LeBron James wants to win a. Oh man, here we go. You said what the hell is that? The all wheelchair. That's exactly what it is, my man.
Oh,
Shout
That's
out at No
exactly what
Ego,
it is.
man. He back for another banger with us this evening, man. We appreciate you tuning in back to back. Everybody else that's
oh
here, man,
man.
keep it coming. Y'all don't know how much we grind this, man. Like you said, posting the start, man. Some hungry man, loving what we do, man. And I done connected with posts after Uncton got the call. Man, it's just been special, man. So I love what we do, and that's something. The all will, man. I'm gonna just leave it at that, man.
Hey, bro, that's legit funny as hell. Make sure you subscribe, man. We need you in our chats,
Oh
man,
man.
for sure. Subscribe to all of our channels, man. Um, where was I at? Yeah. So I don't. You know, my bar. I was at the barber shop. My barber said something really interesting. I don't think it's gonna happen, but he said, "Why not Washington? Why not LeBron go to Washington? You got Anthony Davis there. They got a top what 3 pick. They got Ice Trey there. You know, why not Washington?" He said, "We've seen Golden State. Why not Washington?" And it to me it was interesting, but I don't think that's going to happen because I truly believe LeBron James wants to stay on the West Coast. Any closing thoughts on this, fellas?
Man, that would be like just thinking of that. Like, I'm not gonna get into that aspect. Just think real quick. I think all of y'all. I mean, we understand each other very well. Brian going to Washington. We just gonna go on to the next topic. I'm gonna just leave it alone. Like that'll be something different.
Yeah, for sure, man. Uh, yeah, that's our basketball fix, man. I hope y'all enjoyed that because we about to move on to a little college football. If y'all don't mind, I know y'all don't mind because y'all like hearing the sports dudes cook.
Yes, sir.
And I'm gonna start with you on this, Rob. Texas Tech is currently favorites according to FanDuel to win the Big 12. Would you respect a national championship game victory from the Red Raiders if they accomplish that this season?
I mean, if they win it, I gotta respect it. I mean, yeah, I would respect it, but I just do not see that happening. But yeah, I would respect it if they win it. Yeah, I'm gonna respect it.
You
I
would
think
respect that if they won the national championship. Well, because I heard you flame broiled the situation the other day, bro. So you would respect if Texas Tech went on a crazy run, made it to the Natty, and won the championship. You would respect that.
Yeah, the reason why I'm respecting is because I really don't think Brandon Sorsby is that good of a quarterback anyway. So if they do win it with Brandon Sorsby or any of those other guys, then that means that Texas Tech team as a unit had to be really, really good. Because if you look at the people that we think is going to be in their way, I mean, you got Ohio State, you got Notre Dame, you got Texas, you got Miami, you got Oregon, you got some really, really good teams that we expect to make the college football playoffs. And for them to beat two or three of those teams on their way to winning the national championship with a bum quarterback like Brandon Sorsby, I would have to respect that because that means that that team was really, really good.
Okay, now that you say it like that, I get it. I get it. I understand. Mossberg, what about you, man? Would you respect that championship?
I'm with Unc understanding exactly what he said. But like he said, that's going to be some mountain to climb. And Texas Tech, honestly, they're not even going to be in the Big 12 championship. You talking about teams coming out for their neck. No offense to it, but I'm just speaking of real, man. How would you feel if a quarterback did what he did and you playing college sports and you got to go out and play? If that was you, on the other hand, these are the things you got to think about. And like you said, Unc was cooking with T1, the City League TV the other day, Tuesday. They got to go see that. But I'm going to respect it on that aspect. But Texas Tech, you heard it here first. No Big 12 championship. It's a couple teams in the way.
That's really interesting, Rob. I mean, Mossberg. But before I get to that, let's welcome in T1 of City League TV. How you doing this evening, homie?
I'm good. What up, fellas, man? I came in too early. It wasn't started yet. I left and got into this BMF thing, and man, and just lost track of time. I'm salty. I looked over everything. I planned on being here, and man, life just got the best of me. How y'all brothers doing, man?
We good, bro. We good.
Feeling pretty good, man. Good, good.
Yeah, everything is beautiful, man. I'm glad you could join. Real quick, man. Time, man. See, this is why I do this. This is why we do this. Comments like that. Really appreciate you, brother, man. And I'm happy to see you in here tonight. But T1, Mr. T1 of City League TV, I got a question for you, homie. If I can scroll up and find it real quick. Okay.
But
Uh yeah. If Texas Tech was to go on a run and win the national championship with everything they've been going through, with everything, the whole Sorsby situation, would you respect that championship?
I mean, if they win it on the field, I got to. Like they put it through the courts. Court said there's nothing to see here. I mean, it is what it is. He gets to play. If he goes out there, balls out, they win every single game, win the natty. It is what it is. That gambling didn't have anything to do with, any of those games that he could hypothetically win and get a national championship. So, you know, you play the game, you either win or you lose. And if he go out and win them all, including all the playoff games, hey, kudos to him. And he gonna go to the NFL and make some more money. It's a
Bro,
gamble off.
do y'all think about this? Do you know how the fan bases of every other team would react to seeing Texas Tech win a national championship after their quarterback gambled and was allowed to play this season? They would go nuts. And I'm just happy this didn't happen to my fighting Irish.
Yeah.
Hey, let me just say this post game. Now, just know that 150%.
I think T1 got a call, man.
Straight up businessman popping off, man. But I'm a intercept and grab that fumble off the tip ball that got fumbled on the ground, but we pick it up because we a team, and it's something, man. That's why I say what I say. I don't think they're gonna win the Big 12. I think that's like, if we from the same hood like we are, like how we from the same hood. For example, I was a hooper. If we go play Whetstone, and I know they shooting guard, he been eyeing our practices from somebody he know at the school that he been talking to. Guess what? He on my radar. I'm locking into him. I'm locking him up, and we going at it. So you got to think with this Texas Tech situation, with everything brewing, nothing against, this is the world we live in today. People gonna have some kind of animosity against that university. We already seeing it. So my thing is Texas Tech, they got a target on their back. They got to go out and play like national champions from week 0, week 1, week 2, week all the way up until are you getting to the Big 12 championship? Are you even a talk of the Big 12 championship? It's so much that's brewing behind this. But like you said, they're not going. My opinion, it's not going to be no Texas Tech Red Raiders in the Big 12 championship. No disrespect, but I think that's just added with how the teams in that conference going to play against them this season.
Hey, I was just trying to say this before that phone rang though. I'm not with anything that happened down there in Texas Tech with this quarterback. I think it's actually devastating to the NCAA for them to allow something like this to happen and act like it never happened. So, and I was just going off the hypothetical, and I'm right there with Moss B. I don't think they're going anywhere really. I think that this right here is not even going to allow them to get into the college football playoffs. I think it's going to be a little bad luck thing for them, and I don't even think they're going to be able to get to the playoffs in a weak Big 12, Pac-12, Big 12, whatever it's called.
Stay right there, T1. Because I want to ask you this: are you rooting for BYU to dethrone Texas Tech in the Big 12? And it don't necessarily have to be BYU, but are you rooting against, with everything we know and how everything played out, are you rooting against Texas Tech this year?
Absolutely. Anybody but Texas Tech can come out the Big 12. Absolutely. That was an easy one.
What about you, Moss?
You know me. I'm checking out Texas Tech schedule right now to see if they got to go to Provo. Because if they got to go to Provo, they putting the beat down. I'm taking BYU over Texas Tech in the Big 12, whether it's in the championship game or if it's overall record. You know how I am about this BYU team. When they playing at home, they tough. But I think this adds smoke to BYU this season. It's certain teams if you think about it, last year Texas Tech got in the way of a lot of teams. Teams are coming into this year, a little more NIL. Transfer portal was great to some teams, and a lot of those teams are in the Big 12 where some moves was made. And I think teams got stronger and better to compete with Texas Tech. We know what kind of money they dealing with in Texas, so I think BYU could definitely be that team to take Texas Tech out along with other teams. We seen SEC Sean mention Houston. We see Timmy saying Utah. It's that Big 12 is up for grabs. Now that this has happened, man, it's really out there. Like you could just put every team out there and let them do their own thing this season. It's going to be something special in that Big 12.
What you got, Rob?
Yeah, I'm taking the field against BYU. I don't. I really. I mean, Texas Tech. I really feel like Texas Tech has given each one of these teams in the Big 12 that they're going to face a little bit more ammunition, a little bit more reason to come out there and play their hardest week in and week out. I don't think that Texas Tech, if they have an off day against a team that's coming in there because they're going to have a target on their back so big that everybody's going to want to hit that bullseye as often as they can. And I feel like Texas Tech really put themselves in a bad spot, really with every team that they're going to face in college football. And I think if they do make the playoffs, those teams that make the playoffs with them, they are going to try to give it all to Texas Tech because many of the teams across this country, if not all of them, hate the fact of what they're doing, getting Brendan Sorsby reinstated for breaking the rules, and it might even be an issue in their locker room too. They might have some players on their team because I know there's going to be some people on that team that want things to be done the right way, and even though they're going to support their teammate and they want what's best for their teammate, they still may feel a certain kind of way that, man, this guy cheated. He did something he cheated. He did something he wasn't supposed to do. He shouldn't necessarily be in the locker room with us because it can sort of divide us at some point. I think Texas Tech is not going to win the Big 12. They might drop 2 or 3 games because I think they're going to have times where they're not going to be playing as well in a game. And a team like Utah, Houston, that might be on their schedule might pick them apart on one of those weekends.
Let me ask you this, Rob, before we move to our next segment or question. How do you think like the situation? Because I know you just kind of broke it down, but you did that as I was thinking of this question. Like, how do you think the situation affects Texas Tech negatively or positively? Does it hurt their locker room or does it make them band together? What do you think?
I really do believe we got a lot of young people out there who want things to be done the right way. You have a lot of coaches out there who preach doing things the right way because they see a society of people out there who are not doing things the right way and how it's messing up society. So I think in that locker room, you're going to have players and you're going to have coaches who feel like, listen, we got to do things the right way. And in this situation, we're not doing things the right way because we're trying to win football games as opposed to keeping our integrity. And I think it can mess the locker room up a little bit. Now, of course, that's your brother in battle, and you're going to want what's best for him. But I guarantee you, the majority of those players probably feel like, listen, we should go with a different guy and move on from Brandon Sorsby and this mess we got going on with him.
T1 of City League TV, you there? What you got on this? Do you think that situation hurts the locker room, or do you think it makes them bond together?
I think it make them bond together. If he's on that team, that's your brother, and you got to be all the way locked in with it. So I don't think it hurts I don't think it hurts the locker room at all. If it does, it's silent, and then that's what hurts the locker room. But if it's a real life brotherhood, like all football teams are supposed to be, if he has the okay to play and the okay to go, that's my brother, and I'm gonna give him my all. I'm gonna protect him. I'm gonna catch his balls. I'm gonna run hard when he hand it off. So Don't think it messes up the locker room at all. They all want to win at the end of the day.
What say you on this, Mossberg? How you think it affects the locker room, the camaraderie of that team?
I'm in agreement with T1, like Unc said, man. Like that brotherhood, you know, '01 brotherhood is something I think of going through things like this. Um, Adversity is what it is. You know, they facing some adversity that no university really, if you think about it, has ever faced in college football. This is something bigger than college football right now. You know, you're talking about kids, even though the coaches are adults, but some of them are young men, you know, in their age on that locker on in that locker room and on that sideline. So I think it brings them closer. They're playing for something stronger than what everyone like us may think. You know, they plan for that brotherhood to understand that mistakes happen. You know, that's the one thing I think within that locker room. You know, mistakes happen, and they want to get behind him and put on the show this season. So understanding with everything that we saying, it's our opinions and how we express them based on the take. I think this is just something that we gonna look at even 10 to 15 years from now, and how this Texas Tech football team after, you know, the graduating team, the team that played with this team. You know, I think that's something you look at because, like you said, that brotherhood, it just makes me think of that continued connection with each other throughout a situation like this as well.
Yeah, that's some good cookups from y'all, man. So we down to our final question, and I'm so happy that T1 is in here for this question because we're gonna get into the Brown situation real quick before we get up out of here. But fellas, NFL quarterback battles. I know we in June. It's still relatively early as far as, training camp and all that. But we got some really interesting quarterback battles. And I'm going to start with you on this, Mossberg. You got Watson versus Sanders in Cleveland, Tua versus Penix in Atlanta, and Kyler Murray against J.J. McCarthy in Minnesota. Who's going to win these jobs?
Man, may the best man win. It's it's hard to say that Cleveland situation is tough. I think that's the toughest out of them all because you're talking about two quarterbacks that's doing very well. Um, I think Watson might edge him out. Just seeing how everybody's saying Watson's coming out playing, seeing some film, I think that's going to come down to even throughout the preseason. I'm gonna choose Watson. I know how much I am about Shador. I love Shador and what he's doing, what he's bringing to the table, how he's getting better, and he has that quarterback coach there. So I think Watson wins by the hair of his chinny chin chin. Tough competition. I'm going with Penix, and I'm gonna go McCarthy. I think McCarthy's out to prove himself. I think he really want to prove himself as well as Murray, but I think McCarthy, being that taller quarterback, might have that advantage.
Bro, you crazy if you think McCarthy beating out Murray. But let me ask you, bro, why Penix over Tua, bro?
I think what I seen out of Pennis, I think he just needed to work on some things. A lot of people, some of the stuff that he was going through, I think affected him last season. Just reading some of the articles, it's a tough position to be in. Atlanta starting quarterback, that's not an easy position. So everything in front of him, I think he sees it. I think he took the work and put that work in. And then you think about Tua and his health. That's another reason that I choose Penix. It's a tough thing, but just based on, you know, it's good to see him overcome. But I like Penix and his get his betterness that he's taken over the offseason, getting better and working on the things needed to be worked on. And he could be a franchise quarterback.
Okay, what you got on this, Rob? QB battles.
When it comes down to Watson and Sanders, I think when you look at the contract that Watson has, most owners do not allow a guy making that kind of money to sit on the wood. And I feel like they understand that Cleveland's not going to be any good anyway, and they're looking to their future. So they got to give Watson enough of a chance to see if he can continue to be their quarterback of the future. And if he can't do that, maybe towards season end, they'll bring Sanders in there and see if he's going to be their quarterback of the future. Because I think Watson's contract will be up maybe after this season or maybe the season after, so they can get that off of the books. But I think they got to start with him right now. Cost of the contract and the fact that he's probably going to have a real chip on his shoulder too, because he want to come back and show the league that he can still play. So I'm taking Watson over Sanders in Cleveland. When it comes to Tua versus Penix, I feel like Penix is going to be the one to get the nod, especially in the beginning of the season, because Atlanta, much like in the case of Cleveland, they want to see if Penix is there going to be their guy in the future, or do they need to move on after him after 3 years because of the injury prone that he has. He had it in college. He's had it so far in the NFL. But I think Tua is a good security blanket in case they decide or they be in a position to make the playoffs and Penix goes down. They got a pretty decent veteran security blanket in Tua. But I think they're going to start Penix simply because they're trying to see if maybe we need to move on from this guy at the end of the season. Between Murray and McCarthy, I don't think McCarthy is that good of an NFL quarterback. We didn't see him do a whole lot at Michigan because they ran the ball so much, and it was probably the best system for him because I don't think he can throw all that well. And they got some really good wide receivers in Minnesota. But I think Murray, if Murray can get out of his own way and not have that macho bravado attitude and go out there and be a gamer like we've seen him be in high school and at Oklahoma, we can see Murray win this, and I think Murray wins that job over McCarthy.
T1, it's on you.
All right. I'm gonna say that Murray wins over McCarthy as well. I agree with him there. Not McCarthy. He's just okay, and Murray, he's short. So if they can create some lanes for Murray to throw to those wide receivers and give him time to be able to throw, he actually could possibly shine in Minnesota the way that Darnold did his year. And then I'm going to go with Tua down there in Atlanta over Penix. I just believe that experience that Tua has, and Atlanta doesn't have a bad team at all. So I think the Tua wins that job. And then when we get up there to Cleveland, Watson's contract it's just that Cleveland already know that they dropped the ball on it. They lost. They don't win if Watson starts. So I'm not understanding why people are really thinking that it's some type of competition. There's nothing to gain from Watson starting, not one single thing. There's nobody that's going to trade for him midway through the season or whatever or whatnot. There's absolutely nothing to gain from him. Cleveland is already, they washed that money real good with Sanders. They're not paying him anything. So therefore, they have already kissed that money goodbye. And right now they have to see what Legendary has to offer, and it looks like it's a quarterback competition, but really it's just Watson helping Shador gets to where it needs to be. And if something happens to Shador, Watson can step in. But this is Shador's show right now, so I'm going with Shador up in Cleveland.
So you're not buying into any of the Deshaun Watson hype?
Oh no. And Watson always looks good in the postseason. He preseason. He always looks good in camp. He looked great. He looks phenomenal. I mean, he throws great balls. He moves in the pocket really, really good. He looks like that Deshaun Watson that we saw, 6 years ago. That's what you're seeing in these OTAs, and that's what you see in the preseason and all of that. But we don't know if he can stay healthy. So why would we sacrifice Sanders? That those games that he need to get up under his belt and grow from last year. So I'm not buying none of it. It's not a competition. It's what Watson is doing is what Watson has been doing for the past 9 OTAs. looking really, really great in shorts and shoulder pads.
Look, fellas, for me, this is interesting. Watson versus Sanders in Cleveland. I just don't believe that with all the injuries and surgeries Watson has been through, that he's going to be anything like that quarterback he was for Houston. I gotta see it. So I'm taking Sanders in this one. Tua versus Penix. As of right now, I'll go with Tua just off the simple fact Penix still needs to get healthy. He missed the majority of last season or the latter part of last season with an injury. So it'll be interesting to see where his health is at and if he can live up to that first round draft pick that they spent on him. And then Murray versus McCarthy for me is a layup. I think Kyler Murray has the goods. I don't think he got along with the management in Arizona, and I think there was a lot of beef, internal beef in that situation. I think Murray in Minnesota with that style of play and the weapons they have, I think he's going to absolutely ball this season, fellas. So that's my thoughts on that. Man, what a beautiful, beautiful stream. And shout out to y'all because we held viewership throughout the duration. So that was really exciting to see, man. So
Sir,
I mean,
sir.
thank y'all for tuning in. My homies, thank y'all for rocking uh them sports dudes, as T1 like to say. We was in the building and now we out.
We
Peace.
up out of here. Peace. I love y'all, fellas.
Peace. Love you too, Unc. You already know it, man.
Yes,
Sure.
sir.
Too, man.